Today, I just wanted to take some time to talk about 5 coping strategies that I use to help me cope with my condition, which is schizoaffective disorder bipolar type. These coping strategies have really helped me maintain mental stability and clarity over the past several months while I work my way into recovery from my most recent episode. These coping skills have allowed me to develop the self-awareness I need in order to catch my symptoms acting up before they get too severe. And I have recently experienced this in action. It's bittersweet, but I was able to catch myself going into an episode and contact my doctors and my care team before anything got too severe. And I've been working my way back to that place of stability. So with that, let's get into it. My 5 coping strategies that work best for me are meditation, journaling or writing, going on walks, intensive exercise, and continuing education. Now I'm going to go into detail a little bit more on each of these just to let you know what the benefits are. I'm going to go over the stages of meditation and just to let you know why you should use these coping skills to help you in your daily life. And you don't need to have a mental health condition to use these skills. I think they're just good skills for everybody to have because stress is a huge thing that everyone deals with. And stress is a huge trigger, especially in mental health conditions. And so if we can use these coping strategies to deal with stress, then I think it will help everybody overall. So one of the benefits that all of these coping strategies help with is stress reduction and mood enhancement, which is pretty much the goal here, right? We want to be less stressed and have a better mood. And if we have a better mood, we'll have more stability. If we have less stress, we'll have more stability. And I think everybody really wants that sense of security in themselves. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, I'm going to talk about meditation. There are 3 stages of meditation: concentration, insight, and absorption. Concentration is the initial stage of meditation, and it often involves developing the ability to focus and concentrate the mind on a single point, such as the breathing, or a mantra, or even an image or a spot on the wall. Sometimes I'll just stare at one little spot and focus on my breathing, and that just really helps me connect on a deeper level to myself and my energy, which I'll go more into in a minute. This stage aims to cultivate mental stability and reduce distractions. It allows you to learn to calm your mind and develop sustained focus, which is something if you're very busy or if you have difficulty focusing, then practicing this form of meditation, this beginning stage of meditation, is really going to help you improve that. Just like with anything, like tennis, like playing an instrument, whatever you want to get good at, you have to practice it. So that's something I advise you do for all of these coping strategies, to really just practice. And the more you practice them, the more benefits you'll see, the easier it'll get, and everything just kind of follows suit after that. So the second stage of meditation is insight. As concentration deepens, you may progress to the stage of insight meditation. This place involves observing the nature of thoughts, sensations, and emotions without attachment or judgment. So this is really challenging to do, especially as you get deeper into it. It's very difficult for us to not judge our thoughts or to not judge the way we're feeling physically. So how I practice it is I'll start by just labeling things in my environment. I'll say, oh, there's a black lamp over there, or oh, blue curtains. There's a yoga mat, there's my slippers, there's my dog, the walls are white, there's a yellow piece of paper on the wall, I have a desk, I'm sitting on my bed, And then I'll start working my way into physical sensations. I'll notice, oh, there's tension in my left knee. I have slight pain in the lower right side of my back. I have a slight headache, or this part of my body feels really neutral and I'm just kind of here and I'm not feeling too many physical sensations. Then I'll deepen even further to observe my thoughts. A thought will come up, I will think the thought, and then I will let it go. I will use my inhale and exhale to navigate this. So when I think my thought, I'm typically inhaling, and after I've thought it, I'll exhale and let it go, and then the next thought will come up. It hasn't always been this way for me, so please don't get me wrong. If you have not achieved this level of meditation yet, it takes a lot of practice. I was notorious for having a million different thoughts in a million different directions, all completely unrelated to each other, all occurring all at the same time. And it was very chaotic and it was very difficult for me to function. This is called disorganized thinking, and it's one of my symptoms of my condition. So with this aspect of how my brain worked, I had very little control over myself because the mind controls the body, right? Our mind controls everything that we are and everything that we do. So if that is out of control, then we are out of control and we are operating under chaos. That's why I started practicing meditation, to really help me slow down so I can focus on one thought at a time. Medication helps with this as well, but meditation has been the biggest help in this aspect of my life. Just learning how to slow down and think one thing at a time and really give it a thought instead of it just zooming by and really paying attention to it and then letting it go and not letting it hold power over me. And this is how I've gained control over my own thoughts and my own feelings, by practicing this level of self-awareness and implementing that control through meditation. The next phase of meditation is absorption. This is an advanced meditation practice, and you may enter states of deep absorption or meditative absorption. This is also known as jhana. These states involve profound concentration, heightened mindfulness, and altered states of consciousness. The mind becomes fully absorbed in the meditation object, leading to deep tranquility, joy, and insights. So in this stage of meditation, you really connect with your energy, because we are all energetic beings. We emanate energy fields as part of our existence. And so I find that we are very often not connected to our own energy. And as humans, we are very social beings and we really crave connection with others. What I have found is that it's very difficult for us to get that connection with others if we don't have that connection with ourselves. And it seems to be very rare for us to have that connection with ourselves. I've learned this through experience. There was a period of my life where I was really craving connection with somebody else, whether it was my spouse or my family or my kids or just something other than me. But I could not make those connections happen genuinely and deeply for the life of me, because I was operating under chaos and I did not have that connection with myself. Since practicing meditation and some of these other coping skills, I have learned how to make that connection with myself, and in return, my interpersonal relationships have really begun to thrive, and I've really been able to feel a deep connection with others. So, first and foremost, we have to be able to connect to ourselves, which is kind of in line with the well-known thought that you have to love yourself before you can love somebody else. Well, the same thing applies. You have to connect to yourself before you can connect to somebody else. And that can be achieved through self-reflection and meditation and journaling and just getting yourself to a place of stability. Because when you're not stable, you can't connect to anything because, like I said, you're just operating under that chaos. But once the storm has calmed and you can really just sit with yourself and make that connection, that objective connection, just with no judgment or anything occurring, and just observing yourself as you are and accepting yourself as you are, then you will be able to make that connection with other people. And it really is a night and day difference, the types of connections I've been able to form with others since making that connection with myself and practicing this meditation. Which leads me to what I recommend you do after your meditation, which is reflection. Now that you've gone through the stages of meditation and you've finished your practice, it can be really difficult to just jump right back into your day and get going with everything. So I really recommend you take the time to do some movement, do some neck stretches, and just get some life back into your body. Start becoming aware of your environment again. And what I like to do is I like to write after I meditate. Writing really helps me process information the best. And so I advise you figure out what helps you process information the best, whether it's writing or painting or dancing or making videos, thinking your thoughts out loud, talking to somebody. There's so many different ways we can process information. So finding out what really works for you is going to really enhance your meditation experience overall and really reinforce what you experienced during your meditation. Handwriting for me reinforces the information that I'm processing because it's that mind-body connection. Sometimes it can be hard to form that mind-body connection, and so there are two types of meditations that you can do as well. There's guided meditations and there's silent meditations. Guided meditations are really good for beginners, or if there's something very specific you want to focus on and you're just not at the level to get that focus on your own. Guided meditations provide structure and support, focused attention. They allow you to learn and explore different types of meditation and different things you can focus on during your meditation. And it just really provides a nice guide for you throughout your meditation so you can focus your attention on very specific things and not have to think too hard. Silent meditations are a little bit more advanced. This is if you've been practicing meditation for a little while and you feel really comfortable with it and you know how to guide your own thoughts through a meditation and to just even clear your mind of all your thoughts and not think anything. I watched a video where they spoke about meditation, and when you're in that state of deep meditation, you are no one, you have nothing, and you are nowhere. There's no sense of time or space or physical manifestations of existence, and you just are your energy during that period of time. You're not thinking any thoughts, you're not attached to any physical place, thing, environment, whatever it is. And so that takes a lot of practice to get there. Silent meditations are also good for deepening your awareness, and they give you freedom from the external stimuli. So what I like to do sometimes is I'll do my silent meditations when I walk my dog. I don't bring my phone or anything with me, and I completely detach from the outside world essentially and just get lost in nature on my walk for about 30 minutes. Now, you don't have to sit still when you do your meditations, just so you know. Just don't do them while you're driving. You can do them while you're on the bus, you can do them while you're on a walk. You can even meditate while you're doing exercises if you're just like running on the treadmill or doing the row machine or lifting some weights. You can just focus on your breath and clear your thoughts and kind of just get lost in the monotony of your exercise as well. Unless you're really focusing on reps and things like that, that can be a little more challenging. So after you've done your meditation and your reflection, you're ready to go on with your day. It can be a little excessive to practice meditation multiple times throughout the day. And so I also like to journal, which is another form of observing your thoughts objectively and just getting them out on paper. I like to handwrite my journals because it just reinforces that mind-body connection. Handwriting is the best way for me to process information. I will write a lot of letters to people and then I'll read them out loud to them because I think most people process information auditorily best. So I've come up with all kinds of different ways to use journaling and writing to help me cope. It has provided a lot of benefits for me, such as enhanced self-awareness and great personal growth. The thing I like about writing is you can go back and read it, and you can read it objectively and develop new perspectives based on what you wrote using your logic and critical thinking. When I'm ever facing a really big decision, I'll journal about it, and then I'll go back and read it, and I'll make the decision a lot easier because I'm able to look at it from a different perspective. This has helped me grow in many ways personally, because I have come such a long way just from journaling my thoughts and feelings and my experiences and rereading them and developing that outsider perspective on myself, which gives me introspection, which has proven to be such a lifesaver for me, really, in the realm of knowing myself and knowing who I am and knowing what my signs and symptoms are so that I can keep an eye out for them personally, because I'm the only one who's with me 24/7. And so I can't rely on other people to catch my odd behavior because it starts out very subtle. So subtle that even I don't notice sometimes. And that's where the journaling really helps me, is to make note of the changes, and I can go back and see when the changes started happening and what was going on in my life at that time. So then I can do my practices to focus on, okay, well, here was the trigger, and then releasing the power of that trigger through meditation and journaling. The other thing I like to do is go on walks. Going on walks improves cognitive function and provides mental clarity. I really struggled with mental clarity and my cognitive functioning. It's just kind of part of my condition. And so going on walks really helps to trigger the chemicals in my brain to help me with my cognitive functioning and to clear my head. It's that aerobic exercise that gets the blood pumping, because I try to walk at a quick pace so that I am getting my blood pressure up and getting a good aerobic exercise in, because I have noticed that when I go on walks, I do have better cognitive functioning. This is kind of the same with intensive exercise as well. They both provide chemical releases in the brain that help with improved cognitive functioning and stress resilience. When you do intensive exercise, your body is triggered that it's in a stressful situation, and it starts releasing all these chemicals related to stress. 3 of the chemicals that are released when you exercise are dopamine, BDFN, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factors, and endorphins. Dopamine is the feel-good chemical. I'm sure we're all very familiar with dopamine. And BDNF repairs the brain and provides new neurons in the hippocampus. This plays an important role in neural survival and growth. It serves as a neurotransmitted modulator and participates in neuroplasticity, which is essential for learning and memory. This is something I've only recently learned about, but it's only released when stress is triggered in the brain. The endorphins dilute discomfort and pain that you may be feeling and work with that BDNF to provide the ability to think cognitively when you're under stress. The other thing you can do is take a cold shower. That also induces a stress response in your body. And it is recommended that when you are exercising or in a cold shower or intentionally inducing stress to your body, practice cognitive activities such as doing math equations or doing some form of thought that is like if you were writing or talking to somebody, practicing a speech or something that you would normally talk about, and or try to problem solve some of your problems that you're having while you're under this stress response. So then that way, when you are stress triggered later from a life event, then your body will have the default to use that cognitive functioning and the logic and critical thinking to get through the stressful situation rather than being triggered into that fight, flight, or freeze mode. So with all of that, you have an increased sense of stability and mental clarity in yourself, and that provides a great sense of security for you. So lastly, now that we have this great sense of security established within ourselves, I really recommend continuing education. Continuing education helps improve self-awareness, gives you enhanced knowledge and skills, and provides prevention and early intervention, as well as personal growth. So the personal growth and the prevention and early intervention kind of go hand in hand, because as you continue your education, as you learn more about yourself, and as you learn more about the way the world works psychologically, then you're increasing your knowledge base, which allows you to interact with everything very differently and gives you a new sense of self-awareness, which is really key in prevention and early intervention when it comes to dealing with mental health conditions, especially. But even if you're just someone who gets put under a lot of stress, it'll help you develop that self-awareness so you can sense when you're starting to get stressed, catch it, and then do the opposite action. Do your coping skills that you know help you to reduce your stress levels so that you can get back to baseline sooner. I love to learn. I have always really enjoyed learning. And so continuing education just comes naturally to me, especially since I've decided to make these videos. I continue my education to learn about myself and my condition so that I can also share it with you guys, because what I've learned through experience is there's not a lot of really quality content for conditions like mine, especially because they're so rare. This condition only affects 0.3% of the population. But maybe if you're just curious, or if you're passionate about mental health in general like I am, I hope you'll find these videos helpful. Thank you so much for going over these 5 coping skills with me, and I hope you find them helpful in your daily life so that you can also develop a sense of mental stability and clarity and a sense of security. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you'd like to hear more from me, don't forget to subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye now.